I watched Sinners for the third time the other night, and I walked away with the same thought I had after my first viewing. This is something special. Not just a great film, not just a well-acted drama, a masterclass in filmmaking. Written and directed by Ryan Coogler, Sinners has officially earned 16 Oscar nominations, and after sitting with this film 3 times, I can confidently say every single one feels deserved. From the performances to the cinematography, from the layered writing to the symbolic framing, this is the kind of movie that rewards attention, the kind that reveals new details every time you revisit it. And today, we're diving deep into why Sinners isn't just nominated, it's positioned to be remembered. And anchored at the center of it all is Michael B. Jordan, in a dual performance that I genuinely think will be studied for years. Yes, dual performance. Jordan plays twin brothers, Smoke and Stack, and what's astonishing on a third viewing isn't just that you forget it's one actor, it's that the film subtly trains you to feel their differences before you consciously register them. Smoke carries himself like a man already burdened. His movements are deliberate. His voice sits lower, heavier. Stack, on the other hand, moves with impulsive energy, quicker speech, sharper reactions, more volatility behind the eyes. Jordan doesn't exaggerate the contrast. He calibrates it. And that restraint is what makes it extraordinary. In scenes where the brothers share the frame, the technical achievement is impressive, but the emotional distinction is what truly sells it. You're never watching a visual effect. You're watching two different souls unravel in parallel. And the supporting cast elevates this even further. Haley Steinfeld brings a quiet steeliness to Mary, a character who could have easily been written as reactive, but instead becomes morally central. Delroy Lindo delivers one of those late-career performances that feels effortless, but lands with enormous weight. And Wunmi Mosaku brings an emotional intelligence to Annie that deepens the film's exploration of accountability and faith. No one feels ornamental. Every character is part of the moral architecture. And that's really what Sinners is, architecture. Coogler directs with a kind of quiet confidence that refuses to rush. He lets scenes breathe long past the point where most modern films would cut away. No dramatic score, no rapid editing, just faces, tension, and the unbearable weight of things sometimes said, but also unsaid. That patience is where the film finds its power. Autumn Durald Arkapa's cinematography is equally deliberate. On first viewing, you might describe it as lush or atmospheric. On third viewing, you realize it's psychological warfare. Light and shadow aren't aesthetic choices here, they're moral indicators. Smoke is frequently framed in half-light, his face divided, while Stack is often shown in more exposed compositions early on, only to gradually sink into shadow as consequences close in. By the final act, the warmth that colored the opening sequences has almost completely drained from the palette. The film begins in amber and ends in steel. And Coogler and Arcapa constantly use framing to communicate power. When a character believes they're in control, the camera is steady, symmetrical. The moment that control fractures, the frame subtly destabilizes. It's never showy. It's almost subconscious, but you feel it. That's craft. The writing might be the film's greatest achievement, though. Coogler trusts silence. He trusts subtext. Characters rarely articulate their deepest fears outright. Instead, we watch them circle around truth, deflect it, distort it. Conversations about legacy are really conversations about guilt. Arguments about loyalty are actually about fear of abandonment. And apologies often function more as self-preservation than repentance. On my third viewing, entire exchanges felt different because I now understood what was being withheld. And then there's the symbolism. Mirrors appear throughout the film, sometimes literal, sometimes reflective surfaces in windows or glass. Smoke and Stack are constantly framed in ways that evoke doubling, division, confrontation with self. The twin motif isn't just narrative, it's thematic. The film suggests that sin isn't an isolated act, it's a fracture within identity. Doors and thresholds are another recurring visual language. Characters cross into rooms immediately before moral turning points. The camera lingers just a beat longer than expected at these entryways, as if to underline that something irreversible has just happened. Even the score operates with restraint. Music is used sparingly, which makes its arrival feel almost invasive. Silence, more often than not, is the dominant sound, and in the final stretch of the film, that silence becomes oppressive, like judgment. It's not just about big performances or dramatic scenes, it's about cohesion. Direction, cinematography, editing, production design, performances, they're all in conversation with each other. Nothing feels accidental, nothing feels indulgent. It's a film made by artists who knew exactly what they were building. Sinners never positions itself as morally superior to its characters. It doesn't condemn them loudly. It observes them. It lets them rationalize. It lets them justify. It lets them sit in silence. And then it lets us decide. That's mature filmmaking. By the time the credits rolled, I wasn't thinking about plot twists or technical achievements anymore. I was thinking about how rarely we get films this controlled. Films that reward patience and demand reflection. Because the film, at its core, isn't just about wrongdoing. It's about complicity. It's about identity. It's about the terrifying ease with which we split ourselves in two. The version that acts and the version that watches. And Michael B. Jordan, under Ryan Coogler's direction, embodies that split with haunting precision. So after 3 viewings, I'm still uncovering new layers in Sinners. That's rare. That's the mark of a film built with intention. 16 Oscar nominations is no small achievement, and in my opinion, it's completely earned. Every department fires at the highest level. This is the kind of film that reminds you why the Oscars exist in the first place. Now, the competition this year is tough, no doubt about that, but I'm genuinely hoping Sinners sweeps. It's bold, it's meticulous, and it lingers long after the credits roll. That's the kind of cinema I want to see celebrated. But I want to hear from you. Have you seen Sinners yet? And if you have, how many times have you watched it? Did it hit differently on a second or third viewing? Do you think it deserves to dominate the Oscars this year? Let's talk about it in the comments. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to like and subscribe, because films like Sinners deserve conversations that go beyond the surface.